I am, we all are, ego, one level, soul, another level, and God. You can't say that it's a level, but does that ring true?
He says, I know what you're asking me. So does every other heart that ever walked 1 second of longing and homesickness. Permit me to paraphrase, if I might, in my own vocabulary as well. Who am I? Why am I here? Where's my home? What is my essence? How can I come from behind the tangled barbed wire of society's requirements that I have taken upon myself as though it be the law, indeed, not only of the land, but of heaven as well? How can I rid myself of the pain and confusion of the many years of self-betrayal? And I say that not harshly, but with great compassion. Self-betrayal, self-denial, the longing, the wish to be loved by those with whom I live and walk and whom I love myself. The distortions that I have created. Where is the God when I, the self-made man or woman, present myself as that? Have I left a back pocket where God can fit? Has ego formulated the self and therefore then withheld the power of God's presence? Of course not. The mind will lead you on a merry chase, will it not? And it will say, you see, you have forgotten, but only briefly. You only forget in the cells of the brain that elicit the experience of human consciousness. There can be no forgetting. In the physical form, why, the body continues, does it not? Magically, it seems, to function. Oh, and we will get to you in a moment, he's saying. But indeed so, to function. Oh, he made me laugh. Wait, I have to get back to him. He says, sorry. No, that's all right. And yet, with the glory, the magnificence of all that is physically manifested, how can there be a doubt, a question, but that God exists everywhere? Is there a delineation? No, there is not. Only to the human requirement that there be one. Don't you see, dear friend? Of course you do. And of course at some level you do not. That you, as creator of all things, have also created the requirement, willingness, name it what you will, to forget that that's who you are. And so you sit, all of you have done thus, and you say there is ego, yes. There is soul, perhaps. There is God, of course. There is no separation. You ask me this, and I tell you with great joy, and well, you have experienced this yourself, that there is nothing that is not God. Overlay it, if you will, with monstrous necessity of the moment. Still in all, God is all there is. And so the subdivisions beneath that flaming eternal truth are of no significance, unless, of course, you will them into significance. Is it the answer?
Yeah, but Emmanuel, you're speaking from the God level. If you, and the ego does not have that knowledge.
Exactly. So you're asking me then, how does the ego figure it out?
Yeah.
Well, Obviously, it does not figure it out. And he's it's so funny. And he's saying, and we really wish you would stop trying. He's saying, let me continue. I tease you a little because you know how deeply I love you. And yet the pain and suffering in your world is contained exactly in that. Is it not?
Mm-hmm.
If only I could understand. Well, we angels who walk with you say you can't. And for a moment, that is received perhaps as grace or peace. And then there is the insistence again. It seems the endless, bottomless pit of requirement that says, but if only I could understand. If only I could understand, I would cease to be afraid. If only I could understand, I would walk my holy path with perfection. If only I could understand, I could answer the questions and suffering of the world. If only I could understand, and the gift, do hear this, the gift that each one of you have brought yourself by the supreme willingness and amazing imagination of entering into the human form and therefore then into the very circumstance that caused you not to be able to understand is the gift that you have brought both yourself and eternity as well. Will there ever be a time when you understand? Of course, you all know everything. But the mind, the will, the ego says, but I don't know I know everything. And therefore, I cannot, shall we say, both gently and compassionately take advantage of that wisdom. I cannot utilize it for my own good purpose. And don't you see the excellence of the design that you have wrought, which gives ego center stage, if you will, in the business of personality, but gives it limited effect when the circumstances become vaster and more important.
Would you say that the suffering undergone by the ego is soul food for the soul's journey to the one?
I am flattered that you asked me these questions. I understand the requirement, the longing for a response. But I must speak from my viewpoint, which is the soul has never left the oneness.
Soul has what?
Never left the oneness.
Oh,
how could it possibly be that it does?
Mm-hmm.
Love cannot leave itself. Perfection lives within the domain of perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the journey you have obviously undertaken, all of you, is to exist in what seems to be, but only seems to be, a place apart, in a body separate, in a mind cast adrift, in a world of unreliability. These are not simple, easy things. It takes enormous courage. And the experiences of the human being, are they indeed food for the soul? That is an interesting perspective. Everything, and your life teems with it, your world abounds with opportunity. Everything that brings you to a point of sharpened awareness, even the first breath of a child to the moment of your own wondrous demise. These things are attention getting and, if you will, to utilize your language, soul putting, but only to bring the human being back into alignment with a greater self, to remember love where love seems not to be.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.